Welcome back. You're still watching TV3 New Day. It's time now for the newspaper review segment. And of course, heavy on the news this morning is that demonstration, a peaceful one, by the way, by the NDC Youth Wing. And they're asking for many things to be fixed in the country. But of course, they're away from fix the country. This is a march for justice is what they have termed it. And already we've seen that people have gathered at the Green Park, which is opposite the Accra Mall, getting ready to embark on this peaceful demonstration. And I'll introduce you to my guest shortly. But let's go back to Mawina Egbeta. He's a man on the ground to give us updates. Mawina, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. So earlier you had spoken to us and interviewed a few people who were very, very ready to embark on this demonstration. Have we increased the numbers so far, or what's the situation?
Right, and so from the last time we spoke, if there's anything like an improvement, there's been a vast improvement in terms of the numbers, in terms of the noise, in terms of the euphoria which has characterized the start of this morning's March for Justice demonstration. The persons have increased more, the placards are up in the skies more, with a lot more inscriptions. Ghanaians are dying, the Kufuor to wake up. There are a lot of more MPs here as well. The number of security persons who made their way to ensure that the march is peaceful have also increased. A lot more police vehicles, as you can see in our shots, with a lot more vehicles also for the demonstrators. A number of MPs have made their way here as well. I've seen the likes of Gwen MP, Sophia Adams, the minority spokesperson on finance, Kate Latifawson, the Northtown MP Samuel Okujecha Blakwa, the leader from some MP Sam George as well. I've been speaking to one of them, that's the Gwen MP, who says that one of the reasons they decided to join this protest is that even if they don't have hospitals, even if they don't have the needed road facilities and the like, they must be allowed to live. Essentially speaking to the recent brutality that has been witnessed in parts of the country. We can talk about the drill, we can talk about the Wawa, some military men marching to a town, beating up residents because of a missing phone. And so if you come here and if you're familiar with the Accra Mall area, as of this morning, the entire pedestrian walkway or the entire pavement has been taken over by demonstrators. Already, the traffic situation has started building up because these protesters have taken over the roundabout of the Accra Mall. And so, in the short, the traffic situation has already started building up. I've seen NCTV officials who are trying to begin to direct the traffic to allow for some ease, but still organizers are waiting for a lot more of the demonstrators to come join for the protest to begin. If you look right in front of me, there are still a number of placards still on the ground. My suspicion is that we are waiting for a lot more persons to come pick up these placards before the demonstration can begin. There's music, there's drumming, there's dancing already from some of the demonstrators holding placards and the like, just in an exciting mood ahead of the demonstration. I've spoken to a number of them already who tell me that they are angry because of the killings, they are angry because of the attack, but just as now, they appear to be dancing, they appear to be celebrating somewhat before the demonstration can begin. So if you come here, still preparations expected, still a lot more people expected for everything to kick off. If from the perspective of the organizers, the numbers are not there yet. And that's how come we haven't started marching on the streets just as yet, Bella.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mawina. I will come back to you again at a later time so you can... Man on the ground, Mawina Egbeta, and he just gave us some updates. People are still gathering at the Green Park, and very soon I'm sure that this demonstration will start. But in the studios with me, I have Salam Mustafa. He's the Director of Programs at the Office of the Vice President. Good morning to you. You're welcome. Busy weekend, I believe.
Very, very busy. It was.
I remember the last time you were here. When was that? Thursday? That was when the Vice President was
going to
Yes. How did that go?
It went very, very well. I mean, we're able to commensurate with the bereaved family, also the victims who suffered injury and were still recovering, and also some support was extended to them. So we have reinforced the fact that we need to get to the bottom of the matter so that we are able to nip some of these things in the bud.
I see. Well, also joining us this morning, Edem Agbana is the Deputy Youth Organizer of the NDC. And you'd have thought that he'd be on the streets by now with his people embarking on this demonstration. I'm sure maybe after this, you head over to wherever they may be so you can join them. But how are you doing this morning?
I'm great, Bella. Good morning to you and good morning to our viewers. I actually passed by the Accra Mall this morning before coming here, where patriotic citizens are gathered in their numbers to make a big statement. Like your reporters on the ground are reporting, the numbers are swelling up, the enthusiasm is high, and we hope that by the end of today, we have hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians coming out in their numbers for us to make a big statement for justice, a statement for the Akufo-Addo-led government to step up their work, their responsibilities in ensuring that Ghanaians are safe. And so right after here, I will join, and I want to use the opportunity to invite my brother Salam that if he truly believes that Ghanaians deserve the safety and protection that this country can offer, he should join me, and then we go together and do the demonstration.
Salam, would you go?
I will accept the challenge to go.
If what?
If they are going to be fair and just and demand equity for every Ghanaian, why not? I will go.
Is that not what they're doing?
Wait and see. By the time we get into a discussion, you will have seen the full-fledged political, wheels that will begin to.
Well, let's wait and hear that before we even make those assumptions. But I want to find out from you, Edem, at what point did the NDC youth wing decide to embark on this demonstration? Was it recently after the Ejura killings, or was there already a plan to eventually embark on this?
Well, we have always been agitating and asking that the country be fixed. In fact, we also believe in the philosophy of the Fix the Country advocate, and we have always been asking for justice. We started demanding for justice even before the elections. After the election, we were demanding for justice for our brothers that were killed in Techiman, our brothers that were killed in Savelugu and Ablekuma South, and all the other places that we had, Odududu and all these other places. But the killing of Kaka in Ejura and the aftermath, how the military were released, they were deployed, and they were shooting into an armed crowd and all of that, is actually what has sparked this particular demonstration that, look, enough is enough. We've been complaining, we've been talking about Techiman, Ayawaso West Wugon, and all the others. And these things are still repeating. And it is because we think that President Akufo-Addo and his government are insensitive. They really do not even care. Bella,
why would you say that?
No, Bella, you see, when George Floyd was killed in the United States, our president was among the first group of people sending their condolence or making comments on it on social media. When there was I don't know whether it was a mosque or there was a building in France that had some minor disaster, not even a single person.
Yeah, it was,
not even Notre Dame. There was another incident. I'm just trying to tell you that there have been incidences in the past in other countries that sometimes just one life is lost and all of that. And our president is always quick to make a comment, to speak on it. As we speak, President Akufo-Addo has not spoken about Techiman South and the people that died over there. President Akufo-Addo has not spoken about Ejura killings, apart from setting up a committee. And even that, it was after Ghanaians mounted pressure on him. At the time Ghanaians were asking him to speak on the Ejura killings, President Akufo-Addo was only interested in telling us how Toyota was setting up an assembly plant in Ghana and all of that. So the point is that because the president is insensitive to the plight of Ghanaians, we needed to wake him up with this demonstration.
If he was insensitive, I don't think he would have asked for the interior minister to...
And you see, Bella, there is something called, when you are responding to an emergency, the alacrity with which you do it really speaks volumes. How many days did it take the president to set up the committee? How many days did it take the president to respond to calls from Ghanaians that, in fact, virtually every Ghanaian, civil society organizations were forcing President Akufo-Addo to speak on this matter. Meanwhile, you receive daily national security briefings. So we are of the view that maybe the president is asleep and he is not aware of these happenings. So we want to wake him up with a demonstration, and that is why we'll march, go to the Flagstaff House today, present a petition to the president, then we go to the Speaker of Parliament in Parliament House and present another petition as well. So, Bella, the point is that President Akufo-Addo, by his act, utterances and conduct, has shown that he really, really does not care. Because if he does, he would have taken some more drastic steps in ensuring that we resolve these issues of insecurity in this country.
Did we need a demonstration, especially because a committee has been instituted? They are investigating to find out, what exactly happened and to put forward some recommendations. Are we not jumping the gun by going ahead with a demonstration when we have not heard from the committee?
For all intent and purposes, we need a demonstration because we know the history of President Akufo-Addo when it comes to setting up of committees. What happened to the committee that he set up on the Ayawaso West Wugon by-election issues? The committee made recommendations, even where it was recommended that deal with the national security personnel who misbehaved grossly on that day. President Akufo-Addo ignored their recommendations. So we think and we believe that knowing who President Akufo-Addo is, this committee that he's setting up is just some cover up, just to pretend that he's doing something about it because Ghanaians were mounting pressure on him. So it is not just about the committee. We know he really will not even do anything about it. Secondly, you don't even need a committee to do an investigation into this matter. There are videos around. Who deployed the military to the place? Who and who did you deploy? What forced the military to start shooting into an armed crowd? We saw videos of even military men squatting on the floor, trying to shoot into the crowd. Clearly, these things are targeted attacks. Because if you want to disperse a crowd, you don't shoot into them. You don't squat and target like the way it was done in the video, or we saw it in the video. So, Bella, clearly, the president, there are questions. He is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. So you need to ask yourself relevant questions. Question number one, who did the deployment? What assignment was given to these military people to go and do? Did they do what they were expected to do?
That he deployed them. I mean,
so he deployed them. He asked them to shoot into the crowd.
Well, that he did
do the
not
investigation.
say.
So these are things that we ought to be dealing with, not to set up a political committee.
But that is what they are investigating. Is it not it?
Bella, we have the security agencies have their own internal ways of investigating.
Have we all not criticized these internal investigations?
And we know, I mean, it's because the internal investigations often does not come up with any report, proper report. We were told that Techiman South was being investigated. It's been 7 months. What happened to it? Has anyone been sanctioned? The military men that we saw shooting. And Techiman South, we saw the videos. Clearly, these are people shooting into an armed crowd, just agitating that do the counting or the collation here. We saw it. We saw it in the They told us that they were investigating. What has come out of it? So the point is that these things are happening repeatedly, and yet every day, either we set up a committee or we come out with a statement, holding statement that we are investigating, and nobody gets punished for it. It is emboldening these security officials, especially those that are not professional. Because, Bella, you see, I was in Nigeria last week, Thursday. In Nigeria, clearly, the people will tell you that some of the military men that they saw are military men that were in earrings. And we know, you and I know that per the ethics of the code of ethics of the military, they have dressing code. And military men in Ghana, professional ones, are not allowed to have earrings.
But these are hearsay.
No, these are things that people, and we have seen pictures of military men and police officers all of a sudden who have long beards, who have dreadlocks,
were they
who
the
have
ones
earrings.
at Nigeria? I mean, can we
and
put
so
it in context?
The people in Nigeria will tell you that they saw the military. It was a clash. They saw that the military men, some of them have earrings, some of them have dreadlocks and all of that. So they also believe that many of these soldiers are not professionals. I was in Nigeria myself. And so the point is that repeatedly we have seen pictures, we have seen videos of supposed military men, supposed police officers who are dressed in ways that we know is inconsistent with the dressing code of their security agencies.
But with the police service, we've been told that for some of the divisions, it's allowed. Is that not what we've been told as well?
So which of the divisions?
And so if that's the case, we've been told.
Those divisions, does it include?
That are undercover, there are some who are allowed to dress a certain way just to disguise themselves.
We know that when you go to the police service, there are units like the CID where, for the purpose of the work that they do, they can disguise themselves. They will dress. They can even be they don't really wear the uniform all the time. But ask yourself, is it the CID officials that are deployed on such assignments? They are not. The ordinary police officer that we interact with on daily basis are not the officials that are deployed to go and disperse crowd. You get it? So that is the point. So it's not the CID officials that we know do the undercover work and all that. That are the ones deployed to go and disperse crowd.
But that's why we're all waiting for the results from the investigation.
This is not the first time that it happened. In Iowa, so West Wugon, you saw it. You saw the pictures. You saw videos of how the security personnel were dressed. We saw it in Techiman. We saw it even during the registration. It happened. Even in Sojaman constituency, it happened. So, repeatedly, you have people committing all kinds of crime, all kinds of activities in the name of being members of the National Security Council or the military or the police. Look at what happened in Wa. Just when we are having discussions about Ejura, because a soldier allegedly had his phone stolen. See what the soldiers were misbehaving and doing on the street of Wa. I listened to the chief of Wa yesterday, and so angry. And so the point is that because nobody is being punished for these criminal activities in the name of national security or what have you, people are emboldened to continue committing this crime. And that is why we are waking the president and the government up with this march for justice this morning. And I believe that we'll make a big statement. Ghanaians will join us and let President Akufo-Addo know that our security, our safety is paramount, and we will not allow him to toy with it for the sake of political power.
Salam, I'll bring you in here because NDC won't be the only one. Of course, they are Ghanaians, and many Ghanaians have cried foul with regards to how, the secret services and the military are deployed into society. And instead of protecting the people, they tend to even create more chaos. And even aside that, the number of armed robbery attacks that we have recorded in the last few months, many issues. And we talk about insecurity. The police says that we should be careful how we use that word because we can't use isolated incidents to describe, the general feeling in the country. But clearly we are seeing that Ghanaians are worried and they're agitating and they're asking for government to fix the insecurity problems in the country. What has been done so far? And of course, after the NDC, we're expecting another Fix the Country protest that will take place on the 4th of August. So people are unhappy.
That's true, Bella. Good morning once again. Good morning to my good brother and all your viewers. Bella, first of all, demonstrations are part of our democratic dispensation. It's one of the tools available to seek redress within the political jurisprudence. And it is very, very normal what the NDC Youth Wing is doing this morning. I want to commend the police for agreeing to provide security for the NDC members who would be on the streets today. And we pray and hope that it doesn't turn violent, knowing their very nature, and that it will go on very peacefully, and they will have the opportunity to drum home their concerns. Your initial question, whether I would join, and I premised it on saying that if it were to be devoid of the usual cheap political sloganeering and as it were, the attempt to score political points, why not? Clearly, my good friend and brother has struggled so much to justify exactly why the need for a certain demonstration, and has gone to bring very trite issues to try and buttress the point. Bella, I don't want to do a lot of political equalization, but let me ask my good brother, if it was a mark of sensitivity or lack of it, when in 2015 2015, we went for the Tenancy by-election, which by any accord was more violent than what we saw in Ayawaso, where our current national chairman was beaten and blood was coming out, from many parts of his body. I don't know whether JM ever said a word when he was president. Also, when there was the killing of the overlord of Nanon, I cannot remember any sensitivity shown when JM was the president at the time. I can give you so many issues and ask you whether it was a mark of sensitivity or insensitivity. With regards to Techiman South, that the NDC is always quick to reference and run to, we were here in this country, here in this town, when your national communications officer, just about the time the results have been collated, was asking your members to mass up at the collation center. Mass up and do what? When you know that the procedure is that after voting, you go home 5 o'clock after polls are done, you come and witness the counting at your polling station, the results are declared, and everybody goes home. The electoral officials then continue to the collation center and go and collate and declare result. But the NDC, with their penchant for violence, incited their following to get up and besiege the Techiman Collation Center. Well, I don't know whether you have seen the videos of the Techiman South, the one before the shooting, and the irate nature of the NDC following at the center. When I saw it, I was baffled, and I couldn't understand how a political party would want to do that, because clearly you would raise the tension. Immediately, the NPP also put their people there. There is a clash. Now,
but it doesn't justify.
It does not. It does not.
The killings that took place.
It does not. Absolutely, it does not. And it cannot be justified in any sense. It cannot. Any life that is lost cannot be justified. It cannot be justified.
Okay.
The NPP in Savulgu, when there was a clear case of overvoting in one particular polling station, we did not ask our members to go and besiege. We did not. We agreed for the results to be declared in the favor of the NDC parliamentary candidate, and that will go to court. And currently, that matter is in court. The same thing in Pusiga, in the Upper East region. We lost that seat by just 67 votes. 67. Under 100 votes. We did not ask our members to run and go and rampage. Okay? Because we have 3 balls than anybody else. We allowed the declaration of the results, and we have taken it to court. That particular matter is also in court. That is the mark of civility. We did not want bloodshed. We did not want violence and the needless loss of lives. When Sami Jemfi was chanting, "Go there," he was sitting in Accra. One would have thought that he would get up and go there and lead the people, but he didn't. He was in Accra here, inciting the people to go there. And unfortunate incidents happen. This clearly tells us that we need to be soberly careful when we are dealing with this matter. You know what shocked me in the recent American election? I noticed that no country is ever immune to electoral violence. And that's why it's such a big lesson that we should take on board, we, the political actors in this country, that if the whole mighty America, over 200 years of fledgling democracy, can crumble under an election, then we, who are just under 3 decades or 4 decades, we don't have the might to stand it. And all of these things, I come to say, form part of nation building. Okay? When we take out the usual politicking, cheap politicking that we seek to do currently, and obviously what the NDC is trying is to perfect a certain political agenda, and the president is this, and they moved from fix the country And the next thing was that it was about Kaka. Then they realized that Kaka was an MPP member. Then they ran away from it. And now...
How did they run away from that?
They
are asking for justice. And like Adam has said right now, by the way, what you're seeing are aerial shots from the Green Park around the Accra Mall. We're told that they're getting ready to begin the demonstration.
They're just around 120.
Yes, well, it's too early. It's too early to say. Let's just wait. A crowd of about 1,000 people. We're waiting for that.
It's not attractive.
But Salam, it's too early to make this judgment. Let's wait and see how many more people will join. But my question to you is, regardless, even if in every other country there's electoral violence, is what you do afterwards that determines the way forward.
Yes.
It's been over 7 months, and we're asking that justice be served. People have been killed. Lives were lost during the election. How do we not know what exactly government is doing to fix that problem? And even after that, we've seen several times where the military has been deployed in various places, even at a point when we've been told that the police should be able to handle some of these situations. We know that the military only comes in when the situation is out of control. And so it just reinforces the notion that the police cannot do their work, and that's why the military is coming in. And that's what the concern is. Punish those who are, causing the problems, just so we know and trust in government to be able to restore peace, which is what we haven't seen over the months.
I would not necessarily agree with you that we haven't seen that. I want to believe that when these things happen, the state apparatus, especially the security apparatus who have control of these men, don't sit and do any retrospection. They do, okay? And where, you see, for example, the military, when they court-martial people, you wouldn't know, but it doesn't mean that they have not instituted issues to punish people. And clearly, for example, the incident that happened in the Upper West, the military high command has taken interest in it. And clearly, they will court-martial these officers who were involved, and they will punish. Sometimes police officers are reprimanded, some are taken off the service and dismissed. All of these things happen. So it's not as if that nothing really happens. I would agree with you that maybe when some of these measures are taken, it should be communicated to the public. But it is the nature of the security people. We, the political class, don't really have a direct, if you like, involvement in the day-to-day running of these institutions, because the police is run by the IGP. The military is run by the military high command.
But who leads the police service?
What we do is to bring policy. But
the vice president is the overall head anyway.
He's the chairman of the police
exactly.
council.
And so does he not have a say in some of these things?
Lead the day-to-day running of the
But he's the chairman anyway.
Yeah, the police council is a board. It's a board. It's an advisory board. They sit and take decisions as to, maybe recruitment, route tooling, and so on and so forth. But the day-to-day, you are being assigned to this particular police station. You are being transferred here. It's the day-to-day responsibility of the management of the police, which is different, separate from board. TV3, you have a board of directors, don't you?
But they do have a say.
Yes.
They do have a say regardless, and that is why he's the chairman of the council.
We make sure that when things go wrong, we demand for immediate reason as to why they happen, and clear instructions are issued. Some of these things, because they are security in nature, they may not necessarily come to the public domain if you know the sensitivity of issues around security. So some of these things are handled well within the space of how most of these security agencies operate.
Well, if that's the case, then let me just bring in the issue of Caleb Kuda and the City TV brouhaha that happened. And of course, the fact that when we expected that the people who were involved in brutalizing Caleb, would be punished, we saw how they were redeployed. General Ajimani, in this instance, was redeployed back to the military. And in fact, he went to lead the elite part of the military as well. And so those are the questions that we're asking, that even in cases where people have been found to have flouted the rules, and these are military officers, these are men who are supposed to protect our security, they are only redeployed and sometimes even given a promotion. And so how can we trust in government moving forward that even with all these committees that are being set, we've seen how recommendations were not implemented. How can we trust that moving forward some of these things will be done if recommended by the committee to ensure that peace is restored and Ghanaians, trust the police service again and trust in the military? That is the major question.
Bella, I have a little bit of challenge when you put it in that manner. It is to more or less make it feed into a certain political narrative. And I'll tell you why. You cannot take a colonel out and go and duty him the job of a major. You can't do that. At a certain class, yes, you can check within the, they work according to ranks. What a colonel is duty to do, you cannot give same to a captain, to a major. So if there's a particular unit and a captain cannot lead it, they look for the next available colonel. In the same way, you cannot duty the duties of maybe a major general to a colonel. You can't do that. So it is not to say that someone has been taken away from somewhere and given a promotion. That is not actually fair.
Is that not what it was?
It was not.
Because many people describe it as a slap in the face. Even security officials also raised concerns about that.
I would disagree with them completely.
Okay, land on this one, bring Edem in.
But of course, the issue with Caleb Kuda, if you have followed, has been taken up. National Security Minister himself took interest in the matter and has instituted, as it were, some internal investigation to unravel exactly the circumstance that led to that. Of course, Caleb breached the code, but it didn't mean that he should be assaulted in any manner. Nobody should, not just because he's a journalist, but I mean, no Ghanaian should be molested in any form or shape, regardless.
But the 64th Infantry Battalion has more than one lieutenant colonel, and so that analogy that you're giving, that if one could not perform, then they had to find someone in. There were people there who could have done the job. Edem, let me bring you in this case, because I mean, based on what Salam is saying, they are dealing with the insecurity issues in the country, and so, well, maybe there was no need, like I was asking you earlier, to embark on this demonstration.
Bella, I mean, when he says that they are dealing with issues of insecurity, that actually sounds quite ridiculous, because we are not seeing anything. We have seen heightened insecurity in this country. And you see, we are where we are today because President Akufo-Addo's government was built on lawlessness, which has received the express support, the absolute support of President Akufo-Addo and the entire government. And I'll go into it. Bella, the very day, the genesis of his administration, right in front of President Akufo-Addo at the Flagstaff House, DSP Nanka Bruce was brutally assaulted by vigilante forces associated with President Akufo-Addo. When the issue came out in the public, instead of punishing the people who committed these atrocities, they rather punished whoever had released the CCTV footage. Right in front of President Akufo-Addo in Kumasi, when his vigilante forces brutalized his Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator. We saw videos of how the gentleman was beaten to pulp by members of the NPP, vigilante forces. They took the issue to court. They went further to the court, disrupted court proceedings, and actually scandalized the court. The Attorney General, with the express approval and permission, authorization from President Akufo-Addo, filed a nolle prosequi to discontinue the case. That means that the president endorsed expressly that lawlessness. And we have seen many others. In Tamale, 400, what was the name? The 400, these tricycles that were stolen.
Yeah.
Vigilante forces owned up to it till today. It's been 2 years. Have you heard of anybody that was punished? Ayawa so West will go on. We saw it. So every atrocity, every injustice that we have seen had received the express approval and authorization from President Akufo-Addo. That is why he lacks the political will to punish In this case of Ejura, what happened was that the gentleman who was killed, the first gentleman, Kaka,
yeah.
Everybody knows Kaka as a social media activist, and everybody knows him as an MPP activist. He has been fighting the NDC government, criticizing the NDC government. Nothing happened to him. Not once in his life, throughout the 8 years of the NDC, did he ever receive a message threatening him. But under the MPP, associates, assigns, bodyguards of the MCE sent text messages threatening him. In fact, when you go to Ejura, the youth of Ejura will tell you that there was a point where on their school park, the bodyguards of the MCE actually approached him and warned him in person and asked him to stop doing or making the government unpopular or making the MCE unpopular, and that the MCE needed a second term and all of that.
But these are allegations.
And these are allegations that when you go to the ground, and there are text messages, we have seen screenshots. And so these people threaten him. The police at the point in Ejura even released a letter. We saw the letter warning the gentleman to stop advocating and joining the Fix the Country advocacy. So
the letter didn't specifically say that.
What was the spirit of that letter? Bella, what was the spirit of that letter?
And so we cannot say for sure.
So the point is that
what was the reason why
when
the
the gentleman was
that
killed,
letter?
Bella, when the gentleman was killed, it means that the police were aware of happenings or some misunderstanding between the gentleman and the MC's office, to the extent that they could even sit and write a letter to him. So the letter was there. After the gentleman was killed, and his friends, the young people in Ejura, decided to protest. They were only calling for justice for Kaka. Then you send military and police. And if you look at the weapons, the weaponry of the military and the police that went there, these are not people that came to disperse crowd. They actually came to shoot, maim, and kill. Because we don't disperse crowd with all these AK-47 ammunitions that we saw in the videos that we saw. Unarmed crowd of a community not as huge. I've been to Ejura on a number of occasions, including just last week I was in Ejura. And so if you look at the police, the military, and the weapons that they brought, these people did not come with the intention of just coming to disperse the crowd. They came purposely to shoot, maim, and kill.
But the allegations,
and that is what we have seen. That is the result of their actions.
Machetes, they were pelting stones at the military and stuff. And the police have said for sure that the reason Kaka was killed was not in line with his social activism, and so they will release the details eventually. But
if you are not done with the investigation, how did they even conclude? You see, these are the things. You, the police, there's still investigations ongoing. We are now told that there's a committee. Even before the investigations commenced, you have concluded that he wasn't killed in line. We all know that these things are all cover-ups, Bella. So the point is that everything happening in this country, with regards to insecurity, with regards to injustice, these things have received the express and the absolute approval and authorization from President Akufo-Addo. That is where we are today. Bella, there's another point that is very interesting that we must make. And I was hoping that my brother did not venture into that. It's about the role of the vice president in the administration of the police. He is the chairman of the police council.
Yes.
Now, if you look at the police service and their performance and what is happening today, we all know that the police service have failed in their primary responsibility of protecting their citizens. They have challenges, yes, with getting some arms. Some places they don't even have vehicles, and also there are some hard-working police people who are sacrificing their lives, and some even die in the line of duty. We appreciate them. But the top hierarchy of the police have failed. As we speak, the IGP, who has long passed the age of retirement and is being kept there. What exceptional leadership is he showing that we are keeping him there even when he's not qualified to be there? Tell me, what exceptional leadership? And you think that Dr. Baumia does not have a say in this? As the chairman of the police council, the IGP, with his abysmal performance, we are keeping him even though he's not qualified. He's long past that age. We are still keeping him there.
Is it about his age really, or is it about performance?
You see,
because if he's gone past the age, but he's performing?
If I am a board chairman, okay, of an institution, and I decide to keep the MD there, after the MD had long passed the retirement age, it is because maybe I have confidence in the work that the MD is doing, and I'm finding it difficult to find a replacement. So if Dr. Bawumia, as chairman of the police council, sits there and tolerates this abysmal performance from the IGP, who says it is only heaven that there is no crime, it means that he, Dr. Bawumia, is impressed with the performance of this IGP. And we all know, look at the police hierarchy. Speak to them. Even police officers are protesting. An IGP whose philosophy is that it is only heaven that there is no crime. Why are you being paid to be IGP? Then go to heaven and go and be IGP over there. If it is only heaven that there is no crime. So Dr. Bawumia must sit up as the chairman of the police council, get the police bulletproofs, get the police the ammunition that they deserve, empower the police, and stop recruiting just crooks, people who do not have the qualification. Just 3 weeks ago, police passing out. We saw the videos, we saw the pictures. Some people who are almost approaching 60 years have also been recruited. Look at even the uniforms that they were. Why are we lowering the standard when it comes to police service in this country? So Dr. Bawumia definitely has a role to play in ensuring, get the IGP out, do some reshuffle at the top, and get the police to sit up.
Okay.
That is what must be done immediately.
Right. Let me read comments quickly and then I'll come to Salam. And so this one is from Eric from Fosso, and he says that, good morning, Bella. People are not going to the demonstration because of fear for their lives. Okay, good morning, TV3. Why does Mr. Salam refer to past things, knowing that because of that, NDC was voted out and MPP is in power? Stop equalizing here. Please, if you can't give us solutions to what is happening in Ghana, don't talk. Bella, please don't let anyone on your show say in 2016, in 2014, in 2012. Tell them we're in 2021. Mr. Salam, try and address the issue and stop quoting years. That's Amma Senegal from Achimoda. Good morning, TV3. Salam Mustafa is always on point. In fact, he's given a comprehensive and excellent submission. That's Abdul Aziz Nindao from Katochi in the Upper East region. Okay. And Robbie Fashion Dichemso near Golda Hotel. The more NDC continues to lambast and criticize the president's government, the more they expose their ignorance and hypocrisy. And that's why they will continue in opposition. Regards to Dr. John Kuma, Deputy Finance Minister, and Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe. There are more messages up here. Okay. Walanyo Anakwetia says NDC's demonstration is described as less privileged because he that calls for equity must come with clean hands. Can they? Under no circumstance will they speak goodwill about a Jura shooting incident, no matter who triggered the mayhem that led to the killings. But to engage in unnecessary party politics with it also will be very, detrimental to our nation. Okay, good morning, Bella. If the Commander-in-Chief threw away the report of the Ayawaso West Wogon brutalities, then who is behind what is going on? President Akufo-Addo is the one we should blame. From Osman Bukurisung in Tamale. BT Sly says, today's demonstration led by the NDC Youth Wing is a call in the right direction. We are marching to demand not only justice from the dead victims, from the dead and victims of brutalities, but also for economic and social justice. The soaring cost of living is an act of injustice perpetrated by government through the mismanagement of our resources. Our security is paramount, and President Nana Addo has been sleeping for far too long. The NDC will wake him up. BT Sly from Nadoli Kaleo. Alaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, Bella, nice to see you this morning. Truth be said, the insecurity and lawlessness in this country is becoming one too many. And the earlier something is done about it, the better. Let's not forget that government has the responsibility to protect lives and properties of its citizens. But I'm afraid government has totally failed in this regard. It is only in Ghana that the IGP can look into our faces and tell us that it is only in heaven that crimes are not found. And he still remains at post and has been paid by the poor taxpayers' money. Bella, what happened to the soldiers who invaded Parliament House? This is a serious attack on our democracy, but nothing has been done to them. Nothing seems to be working right in this country. Let us not pretend. Let's call a spade and stop beating about the bush. A.U. Farouk from Tamale North says, good morning. Our beloved country Ghana is now in disarray and nothing seems to be going on well. Insecurity, economic hardships, armed robbery, and the culture of silence is becoming, is here to stay. The voice of authorities must speak louder. Hashtag fix the country. Good morning, Bella. If it is difficult for Nana Addo and his appointees to fix the country, then they better leave it as it is for those who can fix it to fix it, but not to make it unbearable for us. That's Apilika from Bolga, Tanga. Good morning. I think one of the problems in Ghana's politics is unreasonable comparisons. This is because I believe successive governments are to make corrections and not to use past mistakes to justify current failures. Wilson from the Volta region. Good morning, Bella. People are not going to the demonstration because because they fear for their lives. And so these are some of the comments that have come in as well. And please do send yours. If there's time, we'll try and read it before we go. But Salam, that issue, of course, and Adam also asked, the fact that the police came out and said that we can tell for a fact that Kaka was not killed because of his social activism. And at the right time, we'll put out all the investigation reports so we can explain to you what led to it. Was that not premature in the first place? Because if you have not completed the investigations, why do you come out and make these statements at a time when people are really disgruntled about what had happened at that point?
So, Bella, my good friend Adam was in Ho over the weekend where they had a retreat. And for them, what they were told to do is that for everything, clean it down on Nanado and Dr. Baumia.
You weren't there, so how do you know that that is what they were told? I think, were you there?
We have sources.
Why would they say that clean everything on Nanado? What really would be the reason?
Exactly what they were told to do at their retreat.
But you weren't there. You weren't there.
Oh, my sister, I don't need to be there to get information. He knows how we do these things.
Is that what you also do when you go on retreats? Is that why you're saying we know how we do these things?
Not necessarily. First of all, Bella, I think my brother exercised too much exuberance. And I'll caution you to hasten slowly when it comes to these things.
Right.
John Kudalo, after that dastardly Let My Vote Count demo, was made IGP. After citizens were brutalized on the streets of Adabraka, I was there. Justice Ajakuma, may his soul rest in peace, was shot in the eye and later died. He was made IGP after that. That's the mark of a sensitive leader JM was. Adam, exercise restraint with exuberance.
But if mistakes have been made in the past, Salam,
Mohammed, IGP,
Salam,
was given contract.
But if mistakes have been made in the past,
exactly.
You are
that
in power, you've been elected to fix it.
Yes, that's what I'm
so
telling
how
you.
Do we then always go back to what had happened in the past?
Politics, some things beyond. You see, when he refers the past, and you don't caution, and I do, it's only to give you a historical perspective of the matter. Because he refers to the past. That's why I also take him back there, to let him understand. Maybe he was not around. So I'm giving him the benefit of elucidation that these things happened, so that he's minded in his future, deliberations. The current IGP, Opumbuenu, is one of the finest police officers we have had in this country.
I'm sorry, I'll just let you hold on quickly. Our reporter has Mr. Keselato forcing to speak to us quickly. So let's just hear what he has to say. Over to you, Mawina.
This morning's demonstration.
Freeze. Well, we apologize for that technical issues, but we'll get back to him once we're able to fix that problem. Salam, you're on the floor.
Yes. Opumbuenu, this current IGP, is one of the finest police officers we have brought up as a country. If we read his bio, very fine police officer. So for Adam to sit this morning and deride him in the manner he has leaves me baffled as to why a young man would do that. Clearly, this is not an IGP who is asleep. If you have followed the brazen attack at Adedimpo, the killers, some of them have been arrested. Some have been on the run. There's pursuit for them. This is an IGP that is not sleeping on the job.
Are we going to use one instance to describe?
No. And there's, I don't know if you are aware, there's a reported murder this morning. I think yesterday.
Yesterday.
Of
the head teacher, yes, and Uber driver.
The killer has been found and arrested.
Hold on, please. Sorry to cut you again, but Keselato Forson is speaking. Let's hear from him.
What is happening to continue? My brother, this country will not see the future well. And that is why we have all decided to come out today to protest against what is going on. We are saying enough is enough. Enough is enough. Ghanaians are struggling to have 3 square meals a day. The ordinary Ghanaian, particularly the youth, are complaining of joblessness. We cannot sit aloof and allow insecurity to be part of our problem. Because when that happens, then we've lost the country. Then it will mean that we have failed as a country. We cannot. And that is why we are urging all of you. It doesn't matter which political party you belong to. What is wrong is wrong. What is happening in this country is bad, and we have to condemn it. So we've come together to condemn what is happening. And we want to tell the president and the government of the day that please, don't mess our Ghana for us. This is not the Ghana that you inherited. This is not the Ghana that you inherited. The Ghana that you inherited was very peaceful. The Ghana that you inherited was a country that you can criticize the government of the day and you'll be safe. Today, if you criticize the government of the day, if you are not careful, you get slapped. If you are not careful, you will die. If you are not careful, you'll be arrested. If you are not careful, and if you are a businessman, your business will be destroyed. That is not the Ghana we want. And so, if all of us believe that democracy is what we are going to pursue, then we should understand what democracy means. What is happening today is not democracy. It's as if we are in a military rule. It's as if the military has taken over. Today you see military in town everywhere. What is their function? They are supposed to protect the territorial integrity of this country. Ghana is no longer a police state, it's now a military state. The military is everywhere, beating the ordinary Ghanaians. Look at what is happening in Nigeria. You saw some days ago what happened in Wa, beating people left, right, and center. I mean, what's going on? Mr. President, what is going on in this country? We cannot allow this to happen. And that is why we have all come together. Because, my brother, I may be the spokesperson for the NDC on the economy. But let me tell you, without peace and security, there will be no economy. Without peace and security, you cannot even go to school. Without peace and security, even if you are sick, you cannot go to hospital. And that is why I am always saying that in fact...
That's Honorable Kesel Atuforsen. He's the MP for Jumako Enyan Esiam and also the minority spokesperson on finance. He represents the NDC. And, of course, he's also there to join his people to demand for a better Ghana. And we'll be bringing you updates on that. But, Salam, back to the issue and the conversation about the IGP. Of course, he has an incredible bio and all of that. But he had gone beyond his time. He had retired. And he was given a contract and it was renewed again. I mean, are we saying that we could not have found people, able-bodied people in the police service to have taken up that role instead of giving him that position?
It is not necessarily the argument. That is why I reminded my brother that IGP Alhassan Mohammed was given contract when he retired. Sometimes you allow some people to stay for a certain value. And if he still has value to add, I don't see the crime in doing so, if indeed he's doing a good job.
What is the value that he's adding?
And he's doing a good job. The current IGP is doing a good job. What we need is to support. You see, security is shared, okay? If we all come together, if you see something going wrong in your community, because criminals don't live in isolation, they live amongst us. If something is going wrong, and you report it to the authorities, they will take it up. You know, this thing with the West. Somebody sees, something going wrong in your own house. They pick a phone and call the police. Something is happening. You see, it's shared. It's a shared responsibility. So by the time you realize in the West, you'll be there and police will come and knock your door. Is everything all right?
Okay.
So that's what we need to understand, that we are all together in this issue.
Okay.
As far as, but quickly on the issue.
I'll just have to interrupt again. Forgive me for that, but I'll still give you some time to speak. Now, Komlandum is also on standby. I believe he's standing with the Honorable Oko Vanderpoel to have a conversation on this. So take a look.
It is so the March for Justice by the NDC. The people are preparing much from here to the House and then to the Parliament House where they will their petitions. I'm going to be speaking to some of the top NDC officials for a quick conversation before we begin this particular match. I have
2009. We met the ratio of police to the citizenry 1 to about 1,800. We reduced it to 1 to 800 before we left office. So We have done better. As we speak, no. As we
That's
speak,
none of the accurate.
no, that is it.
Yes.
1 to 800.
The current briefing
We've
that
quoted all that in all our
I read.
manifestos,
Yes.
everything. That is the official.
Well, he's the director of programs at the
we
office
have-
of the
we
vice
have-
president, and
we
you
have
are
recruited
telling us
more
that
than you have.
you are telling us as it
Yes.
stands now
We
that
have recruited more than
the
you
police
We have
to
not gotten there yet.
Yeah.
We have not
population
gotten
ratio is
to
what,
there.
1 to 500?
Yes.
You
No.
can
That's
say
what-
that for a fact.
That's what I know.
No.
That's what I know.
That can't be accurate.
That's what I know.
I see.
It's
But
not accurate.
We have recruited
Okay.
more than you have recruited.
Let's
it's
just
not
hear.
just- so give us the
Let's
start.
hear from
Yes.
Sam
We
George
do
as
the
well.
one,
He is
two.
the MP for Ningo
do the
Pram
one.
Pram. Also represents the NDC. Let's hear from him quickly, and we'll continue.
To the cycle of the bastardization of our security services. For how long? Okay, so now, when it was my turn, I survived. You may not be lucky. You may not be lucky. Staff and the chief of defense staff. You are 3-star generals. The 3 stars on your shoulder were not given to you by a politician. They were given to you by your training, your hard work, and your years of service. Don't let a politician control you. Do what you know you swore an oath to this country to. The fidelity of our armed forces and our security services should not be to a politician, whether NDC or MPP. It should not be to a politician. Happen. Nigeria will not have happened. And so those deaths and the blood of those innocent Ghanaians is on the president's head. He failed to act. In Parliament to call to make sure that this is done, especially with your unprecedented narrow margin between majority and minority. You see, this is where there's a lot of misconception. Government business is not led by the minority. That's why there's a majority leader who is leader of business in the House. Now let's also bear in mind, we don't have a majority in the House. Well, for example, what we have done is to use our numbers to demand a parliamentary probe. However, after our parliamentary probe has found people culpable, we do not have the power to effect sanctions in the military. Because as a minority, we don't control the military. We don't have the power to effect the changes, the systematic changes, the systemic changes. Those changes can only be effected by those in government, the man who is commander-in-chief. So yes, the minority will hold them to account. Like this demonstration, it's a manifestation of holding them to account. Like the statements that our leadership and members will make, like the motions on the floor of the House by Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, Alhassan Tuini, and Mahama Yarega.
That's also Sam George. He is the MP for Ningo Pram Pram. He's also at the Green Park. I'm not sure if they have moved yet. I believe that they are still rallying people. Adam, I don't think your people have moved yet, have they?
No,
not yet.
We are not in a hurry to move at all. We know that on a working day like this, there's so much traffic. I even resorted to Okada on my way from there to this place because of the traffic. So we are hoping that the number will swell up more. So far, we can see thousands of people there. We will get many more
people there.
You haven't seen that?
It's exaggerating the number.
No, you see, when
how did you count?
I'm not.
Is it based on the footage that we put out?
It's not just based on. It's not based on your footage.
Oh, you are getting intel from your
I'm
people.
getting reports also from our people on our platforms.
Okay.
But you can see that when you go to the Accra Mall area, the entire stretch, people for demonstration. Sometimes people even just gather on the other side of the road, waiting that let's all move together. So don't worry at all. We'll get the numbers to make a big statement.
Well, at what time exactly are you moving? Can you tell for a fact?
Because I'm not there,
You won't be able to.
Usually before we move, we wait for some of our special guests or leaders. I'm told chairman is there. When general secretary gets there and the minority leader comes, I'm sure we'll be able to move. Yes.
Okay. Final words from you. Exactly. Final words from you. Our time is up. We have to go.
So I heard Honorable Atufosi say that Ghana is not the same again. And I agree with him, Ghana is not the same. This is a Ghana that we have a paperless port system where we have reduced the turnaround time at the port. Ghana is not the same anymore. The NDC couldn't do it. The NDC in 8 years could not do national identification. That today we have done and issued millions of cards and now integrated it with SNATE. Okay? Ghana is not the same. That we have done interoperability. Bella, that you can pick your phone and send money across all networks.
Certainly, Ghana is not the same.
Okay.
Okay.
But all this
Toyota
doesn't matter if security is a
Toyota
problem in the country.
is here
If people
in
are
Ghana.
losing their lives, who are going to benefit from all these
Bella,
policies that you're putting
we
in
have
place?
total control of the security of the country.
Okay.
And we are performing.
Okay.
Let's control the security in Ghana.
All right.
Bella.
Okay.
I mean, Bella.
Tell me the
what
final
we call
word,
the
Adam, as well.
Final question.
Go to
Bella, I
Tripoli.
don't even want to be drawn into
Go
the
to
argument
Tripoli.
about
You want
achievements.
to see security for them.
But just for a minute, all the things that he listed, interoperability, paperless system, NIA
Track,
system,
it's
and
here.
all of that. Everybody knows that the
You couldn't do
NDC
it.
government built
You
the
couldn't do it. It's
infrastructure
not
for
true.
it.
So why couldn't you implement it?
The NIA
They
cards,
wanted
for
to
example,
do
but
interoperability
Bella,
with
Bella,
$5
the
billion.
point,
My time is
Bella,
up. Can
Bella,
you
but more
let him just
importantly,
land?
he's not allowing me
Can
to
you just
land.
let him land?
The
I have only
corruption
10
was
seconds to go.
infested.
You see,
Okay,
he knows.
let's let them just land. 10
Yes,
seconds,
so
please,
you
so I
have
can wrap up.
you had your time, Bella. The point
wish
is
you
that
weren't in the
the point is that today
guys
we are
don't be
making a
violent.
big statement. We
Don't
are
be
talking
violent.
about injustice. We are talking about
There's no injustice
insecurity.
in Ghana.
The point must be made and must be made emphatically that President Akufo-Addo, as Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces,
You people,
and
are
as
going
head
to
of the
launch
National
your
Security
elections for
Council,
national officers.
President Akufo-Addo has
My friend
failed when
Pablo
it
is
comes
running
to
for national youth
security.
organizer
Okay.
again.
Okay.
That they have
They are
failed
putting their
when it
bits.
comes to security, and today
You are safe.
we are waking them
You left
up.
your home and
Okay.
came and sat here free.
All
Nobody
right.
has touched you.
You see,
We have to go,
sometimes
gentlemen. We
you
have to
know
go.
that we are not safe in this
Okay,
country.
on that
Here.
note, thank you.
We are not safe.
Thank you so much.
We are not
Dr.
safe.
Clement Apart, good morning to you. And he says that it is not true. Let me just read this message from Dr. Clement Apart. My time is up.
Ruth the last was attacked on her way from Western North. What is happening is that there is no security in this country.
Okay. And a march for justice is still taking place. If you are joining, they are currently at the Green Park opposite the Accra Mall. The NDC says we're marching for justice. Dr. Clement Park says it's not true that the police to population ratio is 1 to 500, not in Ghana. In fact, in my constituency, it is 1 to 500. And he's always said this every time that he's come on the show, and he's reiterating that fact again. He's the MP for Busa South. You also disagree? Yes. Well, he says in his constituency is 1 to 1,500. And anyway, maybe another time when he's on the show, we'll get to hear from him. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Edem Agbana is the Deputy National Youth Organizer of the NDC. And also, we have had in the studios Salam Mustafa. He's the Director of Programs at the Office of the Vice President. We'll be bringing you more updates on the march and also talking about the 7th year, of course, since Castro disappeared. And that means that today, marking the 7th year, he will be declared dead. Very sad event. We'll give you all those details when we get back. Keep watching.